Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I uploaded, since I interacted. It's been a very long while and there is reason for that, and I'm going to touch on that I'm going to touch on everything to do with my life in this video in hopefully a short period of time, but really this is just for me to get it all out. As you can tell from the title of this video, this is about my anxiety. My anxiety, my OCD, and a recent experience that I had with the Speakmans. So the Speakmans are Eva and Nick Speakman, and they have workshops that they have all over the country. You might have seen them on This Morning. They've treated a lot of famous people. They help normal people like you and me, just anyone, and they have a scheme of conditioning psychotherapy, and they have this workshop that I attended yesterday. I'm going too far into it, I don't want to talk about them too much right now. As you can tell, this video isn't planned. I'm probably going to ramble, I'm probably going to repeat stuff, but if you want to hear about my experience, that's just how I'm gonna put it out there, I'm afraid. I'm going to talk about what I have and how it has progressed, and I'm going to talk about my past experience, and then I'm going to talk about the Speakmans. So if you only just want to hear the bit about the Speakmans, then I will link in the box below, so you can just skip to that if you want. I don't want you to, if you don't want to listen to my story, you don't have to. So yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now and breathe. So I have suffered with anxiety. I think I've always been like an anxious child, but being anxious is actually normal. But I've always been like a very anxious child, and then when I was 10 I lost 3 of my grandparents in the space of 13 months. I never met my dad's dad. He died when my dad was like 24, so I had no grandparents after this awful year that happened. So from that, it hit me really hard. When I eventually went back to school and went to secondary school, it got to a point where my mum had to literally come on the train with me to school, and I would cry my eyes out. I cried my eyes out on the train when I got to school. I had a mobile phone, so I could literally keep on like tabs as to where my parents were, and it eventually got worse and worse to the point where I was having anxiety attacks all the time. I was not able to leave the house. I was crying. I thought everyone was going to die around me, and it's like, yeah, okay, people die, but 10-year-old Sophie couldn't handle that. And after what I went through at such a young age, I had therapy during my primary school years. So that year that it happened, I sat in a room with someone that the school provided. She probably wasn't that well trained, and it was, how do you feel? 10-year-old, like, how do I know how I feel? I can't even comprehend this situation. I don't know how it feels. So I didn't know as a child what was going on, and I'm trying not to put what I know now into how I feel as I'm saying this, because I keep trying to say stuff and I'm like, I want to hold that till later. But so through the years from like 10 to, I want to say like 18, it was bad. So it got worse. I then started having more anxiety attacks, more panic attacks. And when I because everyone is different in this, so I don't want anyone to relate to me. Not saying you might not, but don't take my mannerisms and my things, and you know, because that can happen when you think, when you have OCD, you have anxiety, you know, look for an answer, and you end up looking at other people and like you take that on to try and use that as a coping mechanism, and I don't want that. So yeah, I'd tell my parents every day I'd love them, call in the morning, call them at night, call them throughout the day, bombard them really. When I moved out, I actually got a job quite far away from home, so I had to move like an hour away, and that was awful. I would make my other half drive us home every weekend, and I'm like, we're driving those like 100 miles, or I'm not very good with a map. It was like an hour solid if there was no traffic. Anyway, I feel like I'm not really going that deep into it, and this is the thing, I'm trying to put up this front what I have this whole time, because I don't want people to, you know, everyone has this stigma about mental illness. In 2018 we're getting better, but it's still there, and I think over time I grew to hide it, and hide it in a good way, that people didn't actually realise this went on in my head, because I didn't want people to think I was mental. But I didn't. My obviously close friends knew, but didn't know the extent, and they probably don't know the extent now. So it got to the point that when I moved out and I had a house and I had cats to look after, I had a responsibility, I couldn't leave the house. I worked for a company which I'm not going to mention the name of, but I was made to, every time my phone went off, I would have an anxiety attack, because I thought I was going to get my ass kicked. That's what I got all day. I got, you know, one day you're going to regret being with the same person for the rest of your life. You're going to probably have like a midlife crisis. He's going to probably cheat on you, and really negative stuff, working for a company that I shouldn't have dealt with. I was working from like 7:30, 8, probably earlier than that, just on my phone, and then I was getting home at like 8, 9, still working, having to work at 11 o'clock at night. But yeah, so to a point I was having anxiety attacks all of the time. I was crying, I didn't leave the house, I put on weight. I put on like 3 stone in the space of a year and a half, which is quite a lot of weight to put on in that time. And sorry, you can probably hear kind of my voice. But I didn't leave the house, I didn't talk to my friends, I just sat there scrolling on my phone, seeing everyone going through their life. I sat in an armchair in my living room, watched Netflix, slept a lot of the time. I become a person that I didn't know anymore. And I always said, well, I don't know myself for anxiety, I don't want to go to the doctors. And the 2 times that I actually did go was the worst. Absolute, I got made to feel like unless I went on tablets, that was it. I had no cure, there was no way of going back. I had to just manage with what I had and suppress that with antidepressants. And I didn't want to do that, and I said that from day one. I remember going into the doctors and I said, look, I don't want tablets, I just want someone to talk to. I just want someone to talk to. That's not my mum, that's not my dad, that's not my boyfriend, that's not my sisters. I just want someone to talk to who is a professional, who can help me. And the first guy, he was like, well, what I want you to do is walk to the end of your road on your own. I was like, right, first of all, you ain't listening, because out of everything I just told you, I can walk to the end of the road on my own. And he was like, well, you know, you're going to promise me you're going to come back and you're going to take these antidepressants and you're going to, and I was like, no, I'm not. And it was the fact that no one was listening professionally to me. No one listened. I've probably just jumped again, because this keeps, I'm trying to tell my story and get it out in a short amount of time, and I'm just rambling. So yeah, I went the second time, and he was like, you know, it's proven that tablets will work, and it's proven this and it's proven that, but you know, I will put you forward, but there is like a 3-month waiting list. And I get it, the NHS is great, but 3-4 months just to someone not worse off than me, because I don't think you should ever compare people with mental illness, because everyone is different, regardless if they fall under the same bracket. Everyone is different. But someone who is so close to taking their own life can't wait 3 months. They can't do that. So in the end, yeah, I don't want to go too much into it, because I don't want to slam the NHS and I don't want to slam those doctors. And you know, if after this video, if you do want more of an in-depth about my story, then I can put it out there. My OCD, which is what I've been trying to avoid saying this whole time, and I can't believe I'm putting this out there, because only the people who are closest to me know this. So it started off light switches, plug sockets. You know, 10-year-old Sophie started that. It was plug sockets, it was light switches. It was if I flick the switch twice, I have to put it twice again to turn it off. If, you know, all the switches have to be the same way in, they can't be out for not using them. And then it got worse. So then I had to check the hob, and then I had to check the cooker, and then I had to check the TV was off, and then I had to check all the lamps, and then I had to check the doors. The doors have always been a thing. It got worse to the point that, like, as of like 2 days ago, so this is, it built up. I built my own coping mechanisms to that, and it was what felt good. So I couldn't tell you, every day my numbers changed of how many times I had to check it. Sometimes it would be 7, sometimes it'd be 6, sometimes it'd be 8, sometimes it'd be 12, sometimes it'd be 17. The number changed depending how and when it felt good and when the bad stuff wasn't going to happen. Especially if I was like leaving the country on holiday or going to work, or when I was going to be out of my house for a long period of time, I began taking photos of everything, just like, you know, just in case I forget, just in case like, not that I would forget because I bloody check it 7 times, but it got to a point where I was taking photos of everything. I had to upgrade the memory on my phone to be able to do that, because I had so many photos in the end. But I took photos of everything and anything I took a photo of, because to me nothing bad was going to happen, because I've done my routine, it felt good, I had that validation that, you know, nothing bad was going to happen. I recently went away to Sophiereu, and I've always loved roller coasters. I would be the first one on there with my dad, I would be like the last one off, I'd do it 6 times, it wouldn't bother me. But when I went to Sophiereu, something that I absolutely love doing, I literally panicked, I freaked, and I had to call my dad before I got on this ride, and I was like, Dad, you need to help me, I need to get out of this situation, I can't do it. And that was never me, and I stopped doing the stuff that I loved. So I loved heights. I couldn't do it, I'd have a panic attack, I couldn't move, I'd have to call my dad or James just to try and talk me, like, to make me move. I remember walking up to the tallest part of the shard, and I couldn't move, and I was on the steps, and I had to call my dad, and I was like, Dad, I can't move. People are trying to get past me and I can't move. Like, I am frozen, and I think it's gonna fall over, something bad's gonna happen, I need to get out. And obviously I was there with people that weren't like that close, so to me I was like, I can't tell them everything, they won't know what's going on. When I went up the I-360 in Brighton for my birthday last year, I really wanted to go on it, like, so when we went there, that's what we were going to do, and me and Liam had to sit in the middle because I freaked out. It actually brought me to tears, and when I got off I was like, for God's sake, like, should I do it again? But I knew as soon as I got back up there I'd have the same thing, and it got to the point it was ruining my life. I'd have anxiety attacks all of the time, and I know I keep saying that, but it was all of the time. I would never sleep. I would be up most of the night until I was so tired. I would then fall asleep from being so tired. I would then be like tired for work, and it just completely owned my life. And that is like, hopefully, I didn't really want to, I've never put anything out there other than like posts on my personal Facebook or Instagram about this, so this still feels quite unnatural, I'm not gonna lie to you. But hopefully, like, you can sort of see how much it did control my life. I can already see this is like super long, and I do feel like maybe I should put another part to this video, maybe one where I do write it down and I actually talk about everything. You know, people will probably watch this and be like, oh, it's another one with anxiety. I've seen people comment like that all the time on other people's videos, and do you know what, that's fine if you think that, and I truly hope you never experience this. There was a very dark part in my life last year when I worked for that previous company that I didn't want to exist anymore. The only thing that kept me going was because I knew my parents, it would destroy them, and that was the only, I stopped looking after myself. I put on so much weight, I just gave up. I would get up, go to work, sometimes I wouldn't even shower, sometimes I wouldn't even bother like dressing myself properly. I would just throw anything on, I wouldn't brush my hair, just scrub it up, I'd throw it up, I wouldn't put makeup on, I wouldn't care. But I made a pact to myself. I know people are like, this is so cliche, but on The 31st of December 2017, I made a pact to myself that no matter how long it took, I was changing. I was going to change my life. And here I am on the 30th of September, changing my life. I started eating healthy in January, and I always said to myself, if you can make a month, you can do this. So I made it the month, I made it the 2 months, made it the 3 months, and I had lost a stone and a half at that point. Probably like more a stone, because in like 6 months I lost the 2 stones. So I didn't really, so when I hit that first stone, I was like, you're going to keep going. You were going to keep going with this, and you were going to better yourself. So then James said to me, you know, you need to get back to the gym. I was never that one who liked going to the gym, but I am now, because I put my headphones on, I blare out music, whatever music I want, and I just put my all into it, and I redirect how I feel. Whenever I'm sad, angry or anxious, I will just put everything into my gym, and honestly it is the best thing I've ever done. I've lost 2 stone now, and I've maintained it off for 9 months, and I'm now starting to take up classes, which I never would have done before, and I'm going to lose another 2 stone, and I'm going to be better than I ever thought I would be. So this takes us to now.